This is a quick video. I just want to show and talk about a few different things. So one of them is the rise of the web browsers. So web browsers are becoming ever more important and more powerful. There's some people that saying that web browsers are the new operating system. There's a real big fight happening at the moment as well. The other thing is WebGPU and all the things that allows to be built on top of it. So like TensorFlow.js and Google's MediaPipe, and there's a few other things as well that I'm going to mention. And also anti-gravity. So this is a new agent-based development platform done by Google. And you can think of it a bit like Claude Code, but it's got a UI with it. So what I want to do is just show the capabilities of this, and also just talk about these three technologies. So if you're developing an application for Google's phone, so the Android ecosystem, or if you're doing it for the Apple ecosystem, you've got to write an app for that app store, and there's a lot of hoops you've got to jump through. There's particular languages that are like, there's particular applications that you've got to do. So you've got to install something called Google's Android Studio. So it's not as easy as what if you're used to developing in VS Code, which is what I'm showing you right now. Well, not really, it's anti-gravity, but it's a VS Code fork. You can't really use that. You've got to develop in Android Studio. And let's see whether I've got Android Studio on here. Yeah, so this is a code editor. Oh no, I'm not installed, but let's have a look. So it's its own language in there, and yeah, it's just very specific. So you might not even develop them now. You might not have the skills for that languages. Yeah, so if you're used to something and you can develop web pages for PC, Linux, Mac, then you can also design it for a mobile phone for web browser too, using these technologies. So the web technologies that I've just mentioned previously. And you don't need to go through all the hoops that you need to for accessing these stores. So it just makes development so much easier. And this is just to show how you can do that using anti-gravity. So one of the things with anti-gravity, you've got this little chat window on the right side, so you can specify what you want. So I've already created this previously. One of the things that I wanted to do was to build a posture. So I work in IT, you're pretty much working on a computer all day, and you need something to monitor your posture to make sure that you're not slouching, or you're sat up straight, so your back straight. And the only way you can do that is through one way you can do that is through creating an app for it. And like I said, I didn't want to create an app store just because of all the hoops. So I thought, okay, can I use WebGPU, MediaPipe, and TensorFlow.js? And yes, you can. That's what I found out just by creating this app. So here's my prompt to get started. And I've specified what technologies I want, how I want the app to work, and whether the posture is good, bad, and it tells you live. It creates alerts, and then non-functional requirements. So I specified exactly what I want, and then I've got the agent to develop it. And what this software does, which is really nice, is it gives you an implementation plan. So it tells you what it's going to create and how it's going to create it, and then it gives you bits that you can actually comment on here. So if I wanted to do something, I could just go to here, and I could just add a comment on here, and I could just reference it. So this system knows that this comment's about this particular item. I'm not going to do it now, but it's just showing you what's possible. And a lot of the text-based agents can't do this easy. So I think this is where anti-gravity has just got an extra thing over the other platforms out there. So I'm quite sort of impressed with anti-gravity so far. I've not used it a lot. I've just used it for, I don't know, probably a day during the Christmas break. And it tells you the structure of the application that's going to create. So you've got all the JavaScript files that it creates, and then you've got the static HTML. So the static HTML tells you the layout, and then JavaScript is the actual raw code behind it. And then it gives you a bit of information about each of the JavaScript files. I'll not go through everything in here, but what I will do is I'll share the code online in a GitHub repo, so you can have a look yourselves. And it also gives you user flow in a nice diagram, so it tells you where everything is. I imagine just it's mermaid format. And then it gives you a verification plan, so how it's going to test it and verify that it works. Performance, because I've specified what device. This is my laptop. This is my phone. And it did have to change a lot of this stuff because it was trying to overcompensate. I thought, no, I'm only designing this for my phone. But yeah, so all this is running locally. That's what I've told it to create. And then what it does is it tells, this is the tasks that the LLM is going to create for itself. And then it's going to go through these and just generate the code necessary and the actual planning necessary for each of these topics. So I think what we should do at this point is actually just open this up. So if I go here, copy path, open this up, open a new window, and paste that in. Okay, what I'm going to have to do for this is just disable the webcam. So deactivate. Okay, so that's not active anymore. And then when I click start session here, it's going to come up with another button, and that button's down the bottom that just grants permission. And I can say where I want the selfie to actually take a picture. So this is running the PC, but I've done it on the phone as well. It's just a bit more difficult to record on the phone. If I grant permission, it's going to pop up this window just saying, okay, do you want this system to have permission to use your camera? So I'm just going to choose try this one. That's it. So allow this time, and it's granted. You can see we've got the ticks on here. So continue to calibration. This is going to take a calibration of my posture. So I'm just going to get all set up. You can see it's taking eyes. I think that's the cheeks it's recording. I don't actually know. Just move the screen down a bit. Let's get those shoulders straight. Right, that'll work. Calibrate. Just taking a picture. Okay, so now, see, I'm tilting my shoulders. Hold on, something's not right there. Tip my head. Back. Oh, doesn't like that. Doesn't like that either. Yeah. So you get the idea. And this is what it does, and it records the information at the end and tells you how many alerts. And you can see over a day whether your posture is good or not. And that's using TensorFlow.js and MediaPipe. So, yep, that was done. I haven't really looked at the code for this too much. There's a few things that I had to correct in there, but generally, the agent did all that by itself by a very specified description of what it should be, what I want from the application. And I think that's the key for this. You've got to be very, very specific about what you want and what technologies you want, what's going to work and what's not going to work. And this is one of the things that I wanted to test to see how good this anti-gravity was, and also test the technology, because I see a good future this type of technology.